Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all. My name is Gopal. I'm from Ambit Software, and I'll be your host today. And alongside with me is Logan Henderson from SugarCRM. Ambit Software is a elite partner of SugarCRM, and we have a presence in the US, in Europe, Middle East, and in South Asia. And today we are proud to co-host this webinar with SugarCRM. First, some quick housekeeping notes. Everybody is going to be on mute during this time. There is a chat window that you will see on the right-hand side. Please feel free to ask your questions through the chat window. I will take these questions at the end. We'll get through at least 10 of them, I hope. And if we don't get through them, I'll definitely make sure we connect with you offline. Um, After this webinar is over, within 24 hours, we'll send you a link to the recording of today's webinar. We'll also send you a white paper that we promised earlier on, and we'll send you that as well. And finally, you'll also see very soon next to your chat window, you'll also see a poll window. When polls do open up, please take these polls on the side. We're not going to pause the presentation for you to go through those polls. Just take them on the side. It shouldn't take you too long at all. Let me introduce us right here. My name is Gopal. As I said, I'm Senior Vice President at Ambit Software. And Logan Henderson, he is General Manager for the Sugar Market platform at SugarCRM. Now, Ambit Software is a leading customer experience and digital technology consulting firm with over 14 years of experience and has a presence, like I said, in North America, Europe, Middle East, as well as South Asia. We offer all-round services, right from new implementations, upgrades, and transformations of customer experience systems, including CRM systems for marketing, sales, and service automation. Now, Sugar CRM, they have been routinely acknowledged for being absolutely wonderful on their user experience, especially amongst business users. Sugar CRM has been built on four foundational principles, which makes it the product that it is today. First is no touch information management, continuous cloud innovation, time aware customer experience, and lifetime commitment to customers. Sugar CRM's platform spans the entire buyer's journey through marketing, sales, and service. Now, Logan is surely going to tell you a lot about it further down this webinar. Now, we're all faced with an uncertain time right now, and as marketing leaders, you all have a role to play, a very vital role to play in steering your brand and your entire organization through this difficult patch. So I really thank you for taking the time to be with us. And over the next 40 minutes or so, we will go through some ideas that I hope will help you deliver faster and better results with the right marketing automation strategies. Now, customer behavior is changing quite unpredictably during this time. We are evolving into a new normal. There's more work from home, there's more e-commerce, and there are a whole lot of online meetings. The fact that we're on a webinar today right now is itself evidence to support the fact that times they are a changing. But there are many aspects of buying behavior that we're yet to encounter and even understand. Now, almost every business has seen a big spike in their online activity, be it marketing to their prospects, selling to their customers, or serving their customers. Now, is this trajectory going to continue as it is, or is it going to taper off after a bit? We do not know. We do not know yet if it's going to swing back and forth before it settles to a new normal, or indeed if there's going to be another spike a little later. All that we can say right now is we don't know what we don't know. So a choice of platform that we make for marketing automation, if it can cope with this dynamism, that's going to be incredible for your business. Now, uncertain times are also making our own existing customers change their behavior. There is a luxury jewelry brand that we're working with, and they were always only used to having their customers come to their showrooms. There was no other way that they were interacting with their customers. Now, over the last few weeks, they are now working with us to make them more digitally enabled. They want to have their own app that they can be in touch with their customers with, but more importantly, they want to have a CRM system that not only stays digital, but also nicely fits into their otherwise routinely and on-premise business. Now, they are intending to work with us in terms of connecting with social media platforms, especially now platforms like Instagram and Facebook, definitely. But they also want to work with TikTok because that's where they realize a large portion of their customer base comes from. Now, if you look at a B2B customer, there's another customer of ours in the manufacturing space, specifically in the process heat uh, manufacturing base. Now, this customer of ours, well, not so much having a showroom, but they almost always got all their leads from events. Now, these were all face-to-face events that they had typically in Europe and North America. Now, they don't have that choice anymore, at least for the foreseeable future. And now they're working with us to get them onboarded onto more digital channels, not TikTok so much, but definitely LinkedIn and webinars like this one, or even Zing, which is a popular platform in Germany. Now, be it B2B or B2C, it's important to be ready to engage with your prospects and customers through every transaction, be it in an event or be it a purchase or a transaction they're doing on your website. Now, connected websites and social media, they're going to be the norm now, very vital to your business. And it's important for you to be in touch with your customers through all kinds of platforms, including social media. And when I say be in touch, it's not only about talking to your customers in terms of telling them things or sending them information, but uh, integration with social media, for example, is a great way to start listening in to your customers. And it's quite important right now when buying behaviors are constantly changing. You want to have your ear to the ground. You want to constantly know what's happening with your customers through social media. Now, in a B2B solution, what might work for you is a webinar where you can tap into the strengths of a subject matter. And this time I'm going to lean on Logan, our subject matter expert in sugar market. And you could adopt such a strategy yourself in a B2B business. And you can not only have this webinar to be the place where everybody comes in to have a conversation, but you can promote your brand through emails, through social media, through your web channels, exactly like we did. And we've been in touch with you over multiple channels also. So this is going to be a time where it's definitely important for you to look at your multi-channel strategy and also look at your SEO and SEM strategies. Now, marketing spend in a lot of our customers is going down or has gone down, at least for the first quarter this year. But at the same time, the amount of expenditure that these companies are facing in terms of spend on events uh, and also travel is going down quite dramatically, which means that there is less money to spend, but there's a fewer avenues where you can spend your money. Now, at the same time, there are a whole lot of digital channels to spend your money through, be it your website, be it your social media platforms. Now, what you really need is an easy way to start tracking on your return on investment from all of your marketing spend, whatever channel that they come from. At this moment, I want to introduce you to Logan Henderson, General Manager, Sugar Market at SugarCRM, and he's going to tell you everything that helps you become a sensitive and a responsible, at the same time, an effective marketeer. Over to you, Logan.
Thank you, Gopal, and thank you for the introduction. Thank you, everyone, for joining today. I'm excited to talk to you a little bit about the Sugar suite of products, specifically Sugar Market, our marketing automation solution. So I'm going to go ahead and take over. So I always find it helpful when you're thinking about a product and a service offering to really break it down into the key problems that you're trying to solve. Obviously, today's environment is a very new environment to try and operate in. There's a lot of uncertainty, but there are three key components that marketers really focus on achieving, and it's kind of the core objectives of a marketer today. And this is in good times and in bad. How do you increase lead quality, volume, and throughput? How do you really surface the most ready to purchase prospects? And how do you engage with them? Quantifying and amplifying your return on marketing investment. Gopal hit on this just a few slides ago. Really understanding what your spend yields in terms of return for your business is a key component to not only justify further spend, but also prove the validity of your marketing programs. And then the last component is improving customer experience and retention. Whether you're a recurring revenue business or dealing with repeat customers, you're always trying to re-engage and keep a really healthy relationship with your customers. And using marketing automation is a very effective tool and means for accomplishing those goals. So the way that we've kind of gone about achieving those three key objectives is creating a highly curated tool set that focuses on four main principles. So streamlining campaign creation. This is essentially the speed at which you can build, launch, and report on campaigns. It's going to be much better for your business in terms of not only being able to engage with customers and prospects, but also giving you time back in your day to focus on really value add objectives for your organization. Things like lead generation and content creation, hosting digital events, moving to in-person events when we're able to support those again. The faster that you can build and launch these campaigns in a really seamless environment, the better it's going to be for your business. Understanding engagement. So having the context of how your customers and prospects are engaging with your content, their needs, the problems that they're trying to solve, all of those are components that ultimately improve conversion rates. They make your programs more effective. They make your marketing dollars more effective. And if you do those three things properly, it drives more revenue for your business, which is the goal of not only the business, but also of a revenue-driven marketer in today's environment. So from a platform standpoint, we've focused on, with that concept of a curated tool set is really consolidating the technology stack and the different applications into one. So most marketers today are required to use somewhere between 12 and 14 different applications to do their jobs. That's 14 different logins, databases, credentials, management applications, user experiences. It's incredibly cumbersome. So we've slimmed all of that down and kind of given you all the key features and functions in one application. So what's great is not only can you seamlessly launch and deploy marketing campaigns, but you're also able to report on the success of those campaigns through the entire customer journey. And by doing that, we're going to help deliver the next best action and provide insights into the buyer's journey so that engagement throughout the entire life cycle of the customer is always top of mind. And while the marketing component is a key element, really some of the true value of marketing automation comes from an integration to CRM. And it's providing your sales organization insights to key information in the system that they live in. So the more that we're able to push that data into CRM so it's accessible to them, the better it's going to be, because they're going to spend less time searching for information, consolidating information, trying to do research on a prospect, and really focus on proactive and productive engagement and really that kind of human element. So there's a lot of, I'd say, misconception that marketing automation is really a lead generation effort. And while that is a component of it, it's much more than that. It really is a marketing tool to create customers for life. And it doesn't matter if it is engaging with the prospects or making sure someone who's just made a purchase is satisfied and you're soliciting feedback from them, or once you've had an established relationship, continuing to be proactive in the types of communications you're sending so that you can keep them as a customer for life is kind of the key component here. And in today's environment, this is incredibly powerful when you think about it. So McKinsey did a study that in the aftermath of the 2008 financial crisis, customer experience leaders had 3x return on investment. So if you think about it, right now is the time to really develop a strong customer engagement strategy. Digital transformation is an effort that's been underway for well over a decade. But now, if you haven't really undergone that, those initiatives and activities, now's the time to do that. Because the actions that you take now are going to yield dividends much further down the line for your business. The concept of a strong customer engagement strategy, especially from a marketing standpoint, comes down to three kind of key initiatives to me. One is loyalty, and the number one thing that you need to be doing is shifting from growing customer loyalty to showing loyalty to your customers. And this is a big change. When you think about advocacy, it's really focused on how do I make my customers be advocates of my brand? How do I go get referral business from them? Now's not the time to really focus on trying to make your customers work for you. It's time for you to work for them. So the more that you engage with them, picking up the phone, sitting on conversations, one day having face-to-face meetings, it's going to be hugely impactful to the long-term success of your business. Second key component is really value-driven engagement. So, right now you need to be obviously focusing on empathetic communications, contextually relevant engagement. But the way that I kind of easily quantify this is if you have a message that's better served on a blog post or on your website, that's where it should be. You don't need to be proactively going out to people with just generic facts or random statements or, trying to solicit some type of engagement. You need to understand exactly where they are. That's from an emotional and a sentiment standpoint. And being able to collect all of that information in a system and actually having a very contextually relevant conversation is of the utmost importance right now. The third component is building a sense of community. So it's obviously very difficult to foster community in a socially distanced world. But right now, the more that you can put together like-minded practitioners, the more that you can create an environment for them to share insights and feedback, really build engagement with people outside of your brand, but who are users of your products, the better it's going to be. People are still adjusting to kind of the new norm. We'll obviously at some point be moving back into offices, but the more that you can build a really robust community, and that's engaging with individuals via social channels, that's doing things like hosting webinars and virtual water coolers, really trying to create a sense of community in this digital world. That's something that's not going to be going away. People are still going through and trying to figure out what's the best way to do this. But it's something that is going to be a lasting change in how marketeers engage with prospects and customers. And from there, we're gonna hop in the product and show you a little bit of the solution in action and how you can achieve some of these goals. So we talked about building a sense of community and really trying to foster engagement and proactive conversations. One of the best means for doing that is within social media channels. So I always like to start conversations with, even though it's a tool that's not a sugar product, we have a partnership with a business called Octopost, which is a fantastic social listening and publishing tool. And what's great about it is you're able to, again, engage with contacts and prospects in the system that they're operating in. So whether that is LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, all those components, you're able to really publish content, drive engagement, but then have conversations. So from a publishing standpoint, here's a calendar view of all the posts that you've got ready to go out. It's incredibly easy to dig in and understand, okay, what's going on with these? Let me see which posts are going to be publishing. How can I view the report and understand the engagement statistics here? So I can not only see the post details, but also understand what are the interactions? How many people are clicking? How many people are seeing that link? So what's the impressions? You're able to see a number of different streams. So in this particular case, I've set up streams so that we can monitor how people are engaging with your brand. I've got two right here for LinkedIn and for Twitter, but it's great to be able to see the different types of interactions and being able to start conversations where they need to be taking place. You can proactively engage with individuals. So just as an example, here's all the different opens and mentions that are happening, and you're able to click and start conversations right in those systems, so that again, you're going to build kind of that first touch of engagement in a system that's really kind of curated to their needs and what they're trying to solve. The last component is going to be focusing on kind of the reporting and the analytical capabilities. So social is an incredibly powerful tool, and it's something that is worth investing time and resources in, not only from an acquisition standpoint and being able to acquire new leads and new prospects, but also making sure that you're elevating your brand. So I always like to focus on engagement statistics. And being able to see, what's the overall engagement that we have? How are our impressions? How are our link clicks tracking? Being able to understand engagement by network. When you think about really proving out ROI, understanding the reach that you have on social media and being able to couple the social media impact, whether that's through social publishing or social advertising, coupling that with Google display advertising, being able to capture how much revenue is being driven from those activities and understand where should you be spending time. If 73% of my engagement is via LinkedIn, that's going to be a very good channel for me to be focusing on how do I increase engagement and how do I increase conversion rates for every interaction that I have there. So once you go and you're able to publish these posts and you're starting to drive engagement, what do you do from that point? So typically what happens is you'll post something on LinkedIn and you drive someone to a form on your website. We're going to get to publishing the forms and how to put that on the landing page so that it's got the look and feel of your brand. But right now we're hopping into Sugar and going to show the process of setting up and configuring a form. So as you enter the application, you've got a number of different components that you can go focus on. One that's really important for forms is URL parameters. So by enabling URL parameters, we're going to create hidden fields on a form so that whatever the referring traffic is, whether it's a social campaign or a Google search campaign, those URL and campaign identifiers are going to be captured in the system and be kind of the foundation for how you report on successful ROI and revenue generation from your activities. So as you go through the process, it's a really seamless and kind of intuitive experience, going through the basics, the building process, the stylistic elements, and then obviously making sure that it's got the look and feel of your brand. So with a form, there's traditional capture on your website, trying to just get emails, first names, last names, phone numbers, all the kind of key components of it. But then what's really important is being able to map this over to CRM. So we're going to use just the email field as an example. You've got the ability to put placeholder text, make sure that you kind of guide an individual through that process, but you also have this map to field component. So we natively integrate to 7 of the leading CRMs, obviously Sugar being one of them, but Microsoft Dynamics, Salesforce, NetSuite, Bullhorn, Infor, Sage. So a number of different options. And when you go through the integration process, we're going to map over all of your fields, both standard and custom. So what's great is when you map these components, all you have to do is use a simple type ahead. And next thing you know, you're now tying all the fields and key information that you're capturing and going to be pushing that directly into CRM so it's accessible for the rest of your organization. In this particular component, we're trying to capture basic information, but we also are going to be trying to capture particular areas of product interest. So as an individual is doing their research, there's 60% of the buyer's journey is done before they ever engage with the salesperson, before they ever really raise their hand. And so at that point of raising their hand, you want to be able to capture as much information as possible. So in this particular case, we've listed a few different products that the individual may be interested in. So now you're able to not only understand who are they, but also what's the particular area of interest. From a styling perspective, really seamless experience. By default, all of the builders that you go through are going to be configured for both a desktop and a mobile display. Mobile engagement is, overtaking display and desktop engagement. So it's really important to make sure that the look and feel of your brand is going to be applied across device, across channel, and continue to kind of deliver that seamless experience. So going through all the stylistic components, you can change coloring and text and all the different button colors. But really the true actions of forms starts with, okay, what do you do after that person has raised their hand and captured their information? So in this particular case, we're going to go ahead and add field submission rules. And one of the components that we want to capture is maybe interest. We set up the different product types. Maybe this individual is interested in business insurance. So assuming they select that criteria, I want to go ahead and do a few different actions based on that. I want to add them directly to a distribution list. So now they're going to be able to continue to get all of our communications. They're going to be set up for long-term success and nurture marketing programs. I'm going to add them directly to that. But then I also want to set up a secondary action. And maybe for this one, rather than add them to a distribution list, I want to alert a user. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set up Taylor Stanley, one of our sales individuals, and I'm also going to alert the owner of the record. So now not only are we going to be adding them directly to a marketing list so that they continue to get our engagement, we're also alerting a salesperson that they've got a very active prospect that they want to be communicating with. So the true power of forms is, one, capturing the information, but then two, how do you distribute that? And if you're not using marketing automation, those are two different systems. So the process of capturing information, passing it to your marketing and your sales team, dropping them into a nurture marketing program, sending a follow-up email, those are all different tools. Whereas what we've really tried to do is consolidate all of that into one system. So it's super easy and super seamless to make sure that you're distributing the right information to the right people at the right time. So once you've captured that information and built kind of your form, it really comes down to making sure that you're able to publish that on your website. So you're able to put forms directly on your website, but you're also able to publish landing pages that are going to have the look and feel of your corporate website without needing to go to whoever manages that website. Your CMS can be a very different system. So we've built a landing page builder that has the same kind of super easy experience to go in. You can make text modifications. You're able to edit font size. You're able to hide components on mobile. So maybe something doesn't look that well on a mobile device. You're able to switch that out. In this particular case, maybe we want to switch out and replace a logo. You can drag an image directly on. You can link to a URL, but you also have a consolidated asset library. So it's really easy to make sure that all of the information that you're displaying to an individual is going to continue to drive successful engagement. And all of this information is going to be tracked. So not only, here's the form that we published a second ago that we've already linked up, all the different interactions, whether clicking on specific links or the amount of time they spend on a specific page, all of those components are going to be captured within the system and going to factor into other programs, like driving them into specific nurture programs or creating other lead scoring mechanisms that either are going to push them to a salesperson, drop them into other campaigns, take other actions. So again, you want to make sure that cross-device, this is going to have the look and feel of your brand. We look at how it is on a mobile, look at it again on display, everything's ready to go. You publish and that page goes live. So the process of spinning up that page, dropping a form on, capturing the information is really important. But then from there, we're going to go through kind of what are the next steps. So we're just going to go back to our global dashboard here. And as we go through this, we're going to quickly go build an email. So from the building process, we're going to go to create, simply go to an email. You've got the ability to send regular emails or A/B testing. So A/B tests are a great way to do subject swaps or change out content blocks or senders. So you can really compare two different versions of an email and then focus on whichever one is the best engagement, whichever is the most optimized for conversion, you'll default to that. So for this, we're going to go ahead and set up a few different components. Just going through this, we'll go ahead and do this from first name, go through the different setting and configurations. By default, you're going to have all of your unsubscribe settings so that if you're trying to deal with GDPR compliance or CASL or CAN spam compliance. All those components are going to be here. And then you also have the ability to have Google Analytics power this email so that you can capture additional information for advanced web analytics that are then going to push into your Google Analytics account. So a really kind of easy process to make sure that not only are you going to be able to view and consolidate this information within Sugar, but also for some of the the industry default systems like a Google Analytics, make sure that you're able to view those components there. So the process of building an email is the same process that you're going to get for building landing pages and building for forms. It's a really intuitive building process that you've got pre-built themes. So you've got kind of layout configurations. They're going to be optimized based on deliverability for particular types of engagement. So whether it's, a content delivery or specific events, you've got pre-built designed themes. So if maybe you don't want to start from scratch, you've got the ability to do that. You can create templates. You can have basically a white space and begin from coding your own product. So if you're working with an agency, this is a great way for them to produce email content or landing page content and import that directly into the system. But for here, we're just going to say, use a standard content delivery form. Going through the building process, it's the same with it's the exact same process as you would see with the landing page. So for this particular component, we're going to go into the asset library, and maybe we're going to sub out this picture because this is a little bit more in line with what we're trying to deliver. You're able to move any of these components around. So maybe we want to drop the click to download button, making sure that, again, you don't need to rely on someone with advanced technical expertise. No one needs to have HTML or CSS knowledge. It's all WYSIWYG drag and drop editors, really, really easy to build and launch a campaign. As you go through the process, we're going to go and drop in that marketing list 101 that we put an individual on, but then we're also going to have exclude list. All of these all these lists for building a campaign are going to be dynamic. So whether it's configured from a change on a CRM record or a change within marketing automation, maybe someone has moved from a prospect to a customer and you don't want to send them prospect emails, those are automatically going to be updated. You also have the ability to do list configurations based on specific types of events. So maybe we're going to click on a landing page and we want to look at someone who has not completed a landing page. So we're going to go ahead, put this demo request, and then we want to look at started but not completed, so that anyone who's abandoned a form, you want to be able to include on that campaign. So really, again, really intuitive to make sure that you're delivering the right message to the right audience. So after you go through that, really simple process. You can either send this immediately, you can set it up for a specific date and time. You're able to schedule in batches. So maybe you're sending an email on behalf of your sales organization and you don't want to send 10,000 emails they're going to have to respond to. You can batch those out over time. So the way that you can operate as a marketing organization is do a lot of the heavy lifting that your sales team normally would have to do manually, whether that's creating the content, sending the emails, responding to all these follow-ups. You're able to do that on their behalf. And then the final step, going through, making sure everything is rendering properly, being able to see all the different components of when this is going to go out, who's it going to, again, confirming how it's going to be viewed on a mobile device versus a desktop. And then you also have the ability to look at advanced testing. So we've partnered with a business called Litmus. And when you do the advanced testing, it is going to show how the email renders across something like 30 different browsers and devices. So you're able to see, how does this look on an iPhone versus an Android? How's it going to look in Outlook versus Gmail versus Yahoo? So that you've got kind of, again, that brand standard and making sure that every interaction is going to be on point is kind of the key for this advanced testing component. So once you're there, your nurtures your email is done. You've been able to capture their information. You send them a one-off follow-up email, but then some of the real value of marketing automation comes from integrating all these different components into long tail nurtures. So I just hopped into our nurture builder. This is something that I will say we've got a brand new nurture building experience, which is very similar to the editors and kind of the drag and drop capabilities that you've seen for emails, pages, and forms. That launches at the beginning of June. So we are a few days away from that, and really excited around all the effort that our product and engineering organization has put into that. But a nurture program can be used as either just a long tail kind of drip nurture marketing program, which is what this is here, or they can be specific actions. So it may be a nurture following up on a virtual event. It may be a nurture following up on a specific request for information. In this particular case, you have a number of different steps. So step one may be just sending an email, which is exactly what we just did. You went through the email building process. You would just go and link this up. So the number of steps and options that you have for each one of these is going to be pretty large. It's going to be based on email. It's going to be being able to add actions within CRMs. It's going to be able to alert particular owners or groups of individuals so that you're passing information to the right person within your organization. So from what can you do is really incredible. But then you have all the different conditional logic steps. So in this particular case, did a contact open an email? You want to understand engagement statistics. How are they opening emails? Are they clicking links? Are they engaging with your website? All of these components are going to be conditional steps to direct someone down the best path for them. So if someone continues to not engage with your content and not engage with your emails, at some point you want to just drop them out of that. The more that you continue to engage with an individual who's not engaging with your content, the worse it's going to be for the deliverability health of your organization. So we try and make it really intuitive to not only set up so that you're doing kind of best practices for communication types, but also making sure that for each buyer, they get to kind of choose their own path. And hopefully that leads to the shortest sales cycle and the quickest deal velocity. So really impactful to do that. You're able to measure conversion steps at each one of these components. So rather than looking at how many people started a nurture program and how many people finished, you're able to look at the different interactions at each point and at each step. So that is the type of information that helps you really optimize your nurture programs in total and drive campaign performance across the board. So nurtures are great because it's kind of being able to consolidate everything all in one builder. So it's kind of a workflow engine of consolidating all the different assets. But then, a key component is being able to quickly report on that. So we're going to go back and we're going to look at the global dashboard. This is where you're able to see a consolidated snapshot of all those programs that you've built up over time. So you're able to see how many leads am I generating? What are the conversions? How many opportunities are we creating? You're able to see forms. So obviously form completes yield larger prospect and lead databases. That's really important. You want to get a quick overview of your deliverability overview. Maybe you're a B2B business who's focused on account-based marketing. You're able to consolidate the scores of the individuals within those accounts to show what are the highest propensity accounts in my buying cycle. We now know that buyers are not individuals, but buyers are group decision makers. It requires multiple people within an organization to sign off for approval. So this is a great way to understand the interactions of that account in whole. So you're not just focusing on one particular individual who may not be the ultimate decision maker. You're able to see web views and web sources. So trying to deliver as much information on the types of engagement and how you're capturing an individual's details, which particular content, all those are really important factors. And then being able to drill down into each of these. So maybe we want to go and we want to look at particular individuals. Here, you're able to hop in and just quickly see, let me look at who's been sent to. How can I isolate this to who's been delivered? I want to look at maybe rejected emails. How do I go and pull that information up? So being able to, again, kind of take quick actions. All of that can be exported to CSV if you'd like, but obviously being able to kind of have that information accessibility at your fingertips is really important. And then the next component is being able to consolidate all of that. So you want to look at it at a high level, but you also want to look at it at an individual level. So in this particular case, I'm going to go ahead and understand this particular individual, Morgan, and I want to see how she's been engaging with my brand. So the journey is a consolidation of all those different event types. So you've got the ability to look at web analytics, page visits, email statistics, events, forms, all the social components that we just looked at with Octopost. All that's going to be here. And then you're also able to see the types of submissions. So maybe in this particular case, I want to look at, okay, what's the page visit that Morgan hit? Well, it's going to pull up the page that we built earlier. You want to see the email. Here we go. We're able to see the email that's being built. So it's kind of quick action and access to all of that. You're able to see the details of the individual. So all of this is going to be a bidirectional sync with CRM. So if it's updated in CRM, it's going to pull over. It's going to include all of your custom fields. So anything that's unique to your business and being utilized, you're able to incorporate for personalization of campaigns. You're able to incorporate for segmentation. So when you're going through the list building exercises, all those components can be key drivers. You're able to see the nurture programs that this individual is a part of. But then the most important part, and really where I say you start to get the ultimate value of marketing automation, is consolidating all of those in nurture programs and then being able to score on all of those actions. So in this particular case, I want to see how did Morgan get a contact score of 500? That's a very qualified lead. So you're able to score different types of engagement, and you're also able to score particular attributes or data fields on an individual. So what's great is you may score on engagement. Did they complete a form? Did they open an email? But you also want to be able to score on data fields like, is this a person with a VP level title versus a manager level title? They are going to have more buying authority and ultimately be a more qualified individual who I want to be engaging with. So all of that can be consolidated in the system, and you're not limited to one scoring profile. So you can have this for particular products, for particular regions or lines of business. You can have it for a number of different assets and actions, and it's all going to be able to just, simply go up here, switch the scoring profiles that you have. Maybe you want to look at the high activity records, make modifications, and go from there. So we surface all of this in the marketing automation platform, but it's, again, really powerful when you deliver that to your salesperson. So I'm going to go ahead, and in this particular case, I'm going to hop into, this is an instance of Sugar, and I want to see some of that similar information. So you're able to see the types of information we're collecting on Morgan particularly, but I also want to be able to see the different email engagement that she has. I want to be able to see the landing pages and the form completes. But I also want to be able to take actions directly in the system. So in this particular case, I'm going to open the Sugar Market dashlet. So it doesn't matter which CRM you're utilizing, this particular dash is going to be accessible to your sales team. So you don't have to have additional market users. It's not based on, the number of people who have system access. The more people who have system access, the better it is for your business. So just like we saw in the marketing system in Sugar Market, here's the consolidated journey. You're able to see the scoring summary so that if a salesperson wants to know, why should I be reaching out to this person, you're able to see that level of detail. But then the really powerful part is we know that, ideally, we're all fantastic salespeople, and you have one conversation with an individual and they sign on the dotted line. That's not how people buy, and that's not how sales processes work. But what you want to be able to do is make sure that you have really curated follow-ups. So in this particular case, directly from CRM, a salesperson could go in and they could select a sales template. And this is going to be something that's going to be generated by your marketing organization. You go ahead and insert the template. You're going to be able to have HTML. You can have plain text. In this particular case, any merge tag, so any field is going to be able to be incorporated here. So the emails are dynamic, they're personalized. They go ahead and they send a follow-up email, and then they go into a nurture. And in this particular case, we know that we wanted to send them into a generic nurture campaign, and you've got the ability to actually add them into specific steps. So I can drop Morgan, who is a qualified individual who's just not ready to buy right now, send the follow-up email. It's directed by our marketing organization. The messaging is on point, the branding is on point, and then continue to follow up with them for the next 6 to 12 months, and then until they're ready to buy. And because this is all in one system, all those different interaction points that we showed earlier are going to continue to happen in the background. So as Morgan continues to engage with emails, as she continues to become more qualified, maybe she starts returning to my website, I'm going to get alerted to all of those interactions, so that when I go in as a salesperson to my lead queue and I look at who I should be communicating with, Morgan's going to be at the top of my list, and I'll have actual insights into why I should be communicating with her. So, the true value of sales and marketing alignment. It's very much a process and kind of a mindset and methodology, but it's reliant on a technology backbone. It's reliant on really tight and seamless integration between CRM and marketing automation. So I'm going to go ahead, and as you kind of go through that, and sorry, I'll let this load for a second. Once you've been able to pass that information back and forth, what do you do with it? How do you understand ROI? How do you understand what's working and what's not? So I just hopped into our analytics. So you've got the default dashboard for Sugar Market. This is kind of those quick actionable hits. Again, trying to understand that information. But in this particular component, we have an advanced analytics feature, which is an incredibly powerful BI tool. So we've created a dashboard, which is just supposed to be focusing on the sales and marketing health, what's working and what's not. Some of the information that's presented, you'll see is overlap. You want to look at email deliverability statistics. You want to be able to look at specific campaign performance. So this is a really easy way to show what's working and what's not, and how can I judge success based on the other types of campaigns that I'm running. Maybe you've got one particular form or landing page that is outperforming everything else significantly. You should focus on understanding why is that working. Either how am I directing people to engage with that page via social and search advertising campaigns, or is it a particular piece of content that's incredibly compelling? The more that you can deliver content and kind of, again, build that sense of community and engage with people with that digital experience on your website, the better it's going to be, because more qualified individuals want to have conversations with you. So you're able to quickly see all those statistics and understand, again, what's working and what's not. Maybe you want to look at where you're generating leads. This particular case, we just have a heat map overlaying the United States. You're able to do this on a global basis. You can limit it by country. You can limit it by region, country, territory, any component that's there. And you're able to pull back those kind of key statistics from CRM. So maybe you've got a really high propensity of leads that are coming in that are of the technology industry. You want to be able to dive into all of those. You want to see pipeline performance. So because we're tightly linked to your CRM, we're going to pull back opportunity level information. So what you're able to see is get a view of what are the programs and what are the lead sources of the opportunities that we're creating, and how can we start to tie back ROI. So it's a great way to look at, in this particular case, revenue generated by campaign. And maybe we want to dig into this one a little bit deeper. You see kind of the intuitiveness of the platform. So reporting is of the utmost importance, because frankly, it's how a marketer shows their value. What we built here in conjunction with a business called Looker, which is actually now a Google product, is a fantastic, highly advanced SQL query engine. And without having to do advanced queries, you can go in and change filtering criteria. So you're able to go in and make lead source modifications. So you can go and identify, what are the programs that are working and what are not. You're able to create different visualizations. So for for this particular case, we want to look at it at a pie chart. Maybe you want to look at it at a bar column. All of these components can be modified, but then you're able to actually tie back what's the amount of revenue being generated by particular sources. You can include sub lead source. So you've got a whole number of different opportunities and fields that you can consolidate onto these reports. So what's great is when you do that, you've got the ability to configure all of these to where you can either have them as reports or you can create dashboards. So for each one of your products, for each one of your businesses, maybe you have an enterprise business, which is kind of field level, and maybe you've got a high velocity telesales model. You're able to create and segment dashboards and reports for each one of those lines of business. And then you have the save and schedule feature. So what's great is we know that each one of these components is really a powerful tool to be able to analyze success of your programs, but we also know it's very cumbersome to do this. So most organizations spend anywhere from 5 to 10 hours per week just reporting and trying to understand what's working and what's not. By setting up all of these components within advanced analytics, not only do they run in real time, so they're always up to date, they're always actionable, but you can also schedule these components to go out. So for this particular case, maybe I've created a report or I've created a dashboard that I want to send to my sales leadership team or to my executive team to show them the number of leads that we've created. You're able to set it up, go to a particular time. Maybe we want this to go out every week, Friday at 6 a.m. so that when everyone goes into the office, it's in their inbox and they know exactly what we've done for the preceding 5 days. This is a great way to do that. And it simply just goes. So the onus of reporting, having to get a marketing operations person who's trying to consolidate your CRM data with your marketing automation data, make sure that it's tying out, all those are off the table and it just happens automatically. So the power of reporting and being able to understand program effectiveness, being able to understand conversion rates, those are the components that kind of drive that fourth pillar of revenue that we solve for as a system and as a program. So there's a lot. This was obviously a very high level demo trying to show you the different components of the system. But I think that if you hopefully saw how intuitive it is. Some of this was pre-built, but largely these were all components that were done on the fly. And in a matter of 45 minutes, you're able to go through, create, configure, and launch successful marketing programs and drive results for your business. We're going to go ahead and switch back real quick. And we can open it up for Q&A.
Super, great. Thank you, Logan. Your demonstration was absolutely amazing. Every time I hear it from you, there's something else that I discover. The advanced analytics, the integration with all kinds of CRM, the kind of actionable insights that you get so quickly on the fly. I mean, all that is just amazing stuff. So thank you so much, Logan, for bringing that up.
Of course, thank you.
Okay, so we don't really have time for too many questions, so I'm just going to be able to, there are quite a few already in our chat box. So Logan, I'm going to ask you a couple of them first.
Okay.
Number one is, which CRM systems can you integrate SugarMarket with?
Yep. So I mentioned it briefly. Obviously, we've got a super seamless integration to SugarCRM, but we also support native integrations to Salesforce, Microsoft Dynamics, NetSuite, Bullhorn, Infor, and Sage. And what's great about our connectors is we don't charge for them. We think that sales and marketing alignment is key. So those are all part of the product and part of the solution that you'll get.
Awesome. Another one we have is, can you describe the setup and training available once we go live with SugarMarket?
Yeah, so we've taken a bit of a different approach than I'd say many other vendors in the space, and it is a very hands-on training. So you would be working directly with one of our marketing automation consultants, and they guide you through a series of 12 training sessions that are an hour apiece. And they're conducted virtually. We do on-site trainings as well, but most of them are conducted virtually so that you can have any number of individuals join. They're all recorded so that you can go back and view them for, if you have future questions or additional employees come on board who want to learn the system. So it's a very hands-on approach. And what's great is we actually do the training in the live environment. So rather than training you on a system that's going to be a test and dummy system, and then you have to go recreate it in your own instance, we're going to show you how to build an email, and we're going to simultaneously build an email template that can be fully used within your instance of SugarMarket. So when you finish the implementation program after those 12 sessions, the system is fully live. So kind of the speed to value and being able to make sure that you're going to be able to effectively deploy campaigns as soon as you go live is kind of why we've taken that approach.
Thank you, Logan. We are running short of time, so I'm going to allow just one more question now. I already have it in my chat box. If you have any more questions, you'll see my email address on your screen. Please send them on an email to me, and I will answer them, or take help from Logan in answering them. The final one then, we have a small marketing team are there additional services like some type of managed services that you provide?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's something that we hear quite frequently with businesses that are looking to adopt marketing automation. What we set out to do is create a solution that can be used by small marketing organizations. Part of why we have drag and drop builders throughout the entire application is so that you don't have to have someone with HTML or CSS. You don't have to have a marketing operations person. So we've tried to build the platform to be very intuitive, but even beyond that, if you've got a smaller team who maybe doesn't have experience with implementing and deploying marketing automation programs, maybe you want to look at it. You've got a lot of different objectives. We know right now people are trying to change their entire marketing strategy, and learning another software application is something that's not feasible for them. We have a managed services offering, which is a dedicated consultant to your account. So what's great is that individual is highly experienced in deploying marketing automation, implementing the solution. But they also, because they're dedicated to your account, they couple kind of the tactical components of building an email, sending the email, reporting on the success of it, with the strategic components and kind of the advisory services of, how many points should an email open be in a lead scoring profile? Should I do negative weight on a scoring profile for someone who visits this particular page? Those kind of advisory components is part of the service offering. So we do have a managed services team that is, again, responsible for the kind of tactical as well as the long-term strategic success of the Sugar Market deployment.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Logan. And with that, we come to the end of today's webinar. I want to take the opportunity to thank you, Logan. Really appreciate the session. And also everybody else who's dialed in and spent the last hour or so with us. As promised, we will follow up with a recording, the white paper, as well as results from today's polls. So stay safe and hope to hear from you again very soon. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.